pirates and unicorns in her dreams upon. With her magic crayon, we will have much fun. Sunny or rainy day, she will laugh and play. Red and blue will enchant you.
It was a hot summer's day, and Jenny was lying on her tummy in the sand, practicing to write her name. She was not very good at it yet, because she is 4 years old and only just learned to write her name. Knows it starts with a straight line across from left to right. Then she remembers that she must draw a monkey tail down the center, but she can never remember if the tail must go to the right or the left. Next, she must draw a circle with a gap in it and a line at the top, but again she cannot remember if the gap should be on the left or right. To be honest, she can barely remember which side is right or left. She must always first look at Mommy to see which hand she writes with, and then she knows that one is her right hand. Daddy uses his left hand to write. Next 2 letters are easy because she knows it is 2 bunny hops. She recalls it ends with an upside-down bunny hop and a monkey tail, so if she could just remember the direction of the girls, she should get this one right easily. There, she says, as if all the critters and flowers were watching in anticipation for her to finish. She jumps up and dusts herself down whilst wiping her hands on her red dotted dress. "Mommy," she calls. "Mommy, come look." She grabs her mother by the hand and drags her eagerly to show off her masterpiece. But when they got to the spot where she was drawing, Bruno the dog was sitting right on top of her name, wagging his tail and wiping her name to dust. Jenny burst into tears. It took her forever to get it right, and now she must start all over again. Mommy picks her up while kissing her tears away and carries her inside. She puts Jenny down on the kitchen counter, wipes her hands with sanitizing wipes, and gives her a piece of paper and a bright red crayon. Red is Jenny's favorite color. Bruno won't be able to wipe it out if you write on paper with a crayon, Mommy says smilingly, sweeping her hair out of her face. Inspired by the red crayon, Jenny tries again, and this time it goes much faster because she still remembers which way the monkey tail must curl. All done. Look, Mommy. Mom turns around and looks at Jenny, who wrote her name in bright red crayon for the first time. "This one is going on the fridge," says Mum, and picks Jenny up from the kitchen counter, handing her a crayon and a few pieces of paper. "It's yours for practicing," says Mum. Jenny feels like a champion and runs to the dining room table to attempt more designs with her new red crayon.
Jenny loves her red crayon. She feels like a magical fairy every time she uses it. In her little 4-year-old mind, the red crayon is the reason she's able to write and draw. She puts it in her fairy handbag and carries it around everywhere she goes. At the moment, it is her most treasured possession. At breakfast, she drew a smiley face on the back of the cereal box, and she is certain the cereal tasted better because of the magic. While she was playing in her dollhouse this morning, she put some red lipstick on all her dolls with her magic crayon. Suddenly they came alive in her mind. She played for hours in her imaginary world. Mommy just called her to eat lunch, and she asked if she could watch some TV while eating. "Just this one time," said Mommy. She was sitting at the coffee table, and there were some boring books lying there. So Jenny decided to give them some color, and she made red sketches on every page. It made her feel so happy. After lunch, she decided to play with Bruno, when a bright idea entered her mind. What would Bruno look like with some red stripes in his hair? She took her magic crayon and colored all the white patches on Bruno's body. She couldn't believe her eyes when she looked at her handiwork. She was convinced Bruno turned into a unicorn. They played for hours, sliding on imaginary rainbows and eating flowers made of marshmallows, until a voice interrupted their play. Jenny, what have you done? Mummy was very upset about something, and Jenny couldn't think of one single thing she did wrong. Just in case, she sat very quietly, waiting for the voice to come to her. Jenny, oh no, not Bruno too! Mummy gasped as she entered the room. Sweetie, you cannot draw on everything you see. You'll ruin Daddy's magazines on the coffee table. He's going to be very upset when he sees it. And poor Bruno looks like he has chicken pox.
But, Mommy, I was making everything better with magic,
cries Jenny. Mummy realizes that she won't be able to punish Jenny as she didn't understand what she did wrong. Sweetie, from now on, remember, you can only use your magic crayon on clean sheets of paper or a coloring book. Nothing else. Do you understand? Mummy said, lovingly. Yes, Mummy. Sorry, Mummy, sobs Jenny. It's okay. I love you. If you do it again, though, I will have to punish you. All right? Mummy kissed Jenny on the cheek and wiped her face. Jenny nodded that she understood. And so, Jenny's magical red crayon went back into the fairy bag until the next day. Bruno is still covered in red spots, and everywhere he lies down, he leaves a mark, so Mummy said Jenny must help to wash him. This is Jenny's first time to bath Bruno. Mummy filled the bath with water and called Bruno, but Bruno is not a fan of bathing. So when he heard the tap run, he went into hiding. Jenny, go find Bruno, Mummy instructed. Jenny searched everywhere, calling, Bruno! Mummy decided to help and found him behind the couch in the lounge. Mummy dragged Bruno on his collar and Jenny pushed from behind until at last they got him into the bathroom and closed the door. What a struggle to get him into the bath! Jenny followed Mum's instructions. First, pour water over his whole body. Jenny took the jug and poured water over Bruno, who was still trying to get out of the bath, but Mummy was holding him down. Now take some of the shampoo and pour it onto his back. Be careful not to get it into your eyes. Jenny started washing and scrubbing Bruno until his whole body was covered with bubbles and foam. Jenny was laughing and enjoying herself, but Mummy did not think this was fun at all, because Bruno kept shaking and splashing water all over them and the bathroom floor. Finally, rinse off all the bubbles. Jenny started rinsing and she thought the pink water from the red crayon was beautiful. Mummy thought by herself that Jenny's enjoying this punishment way too much. So she decided that Jenny will have to clean the bathroom as well. After Mummy helped her dry Bruno with a towel, she fetched old towels and told Jenny to dry the bathroom floor. Jenny did not enjoy this task at all. It was difficult and slippery. At last she was done and fell flat on her back on the couch next to Mummy, who was reading a book with a huge sigh, saying, I don't think Bruno needs colour in his hair ever again. Mummy just smiled. Jenny was so tired from all the hard work bathing Bruno that she fell asleep almost immediately that night. She had the most magical dream. Bruno was a beautiful unicorn who could fly. He had fluffy rainbow horn and his wings shimmered like glitter, but they were soft and feathery. Uni Bruno put Jenny on his back and they flew all over the farm. What a wonderful feeling to fly! First, she saw her bedroom from above, when the whole house and then the whole farm with all the animals, and before she knew it, they were above the clouds. They played on the clouds like it was jumping castles and built a snowman with cloud fluff. She made a pillow of fluff and lay down on her back staring at space while floating around on a cloud. When she heard her mummy's voice calling from afar to wake up, she ignored it because it was just too lovely to play in the clouds. The next moment, she was awake in her bed. She tried her best to go back to sleep so she can continue her dream, but breakfast smelled too nice and her tummy was growling.
She was upset and disappointed at the breakfast table. "What is wrong, Jenny? Did you have a bad dream?" Mommy asked.
No, it was a good dream. I didn't want it to end.
Mommy smiled and gave her a hug. "Tell me about it." She told Mom the whole dream, and Mom could see how much she enjoyed it. "I have an idea," Mom said. "Why don't we come up with different endings to your dream? Then you can pick your favorite one." Jenny's eyes lit up with this idea. They explored different endings. One ended with Jenny falling off a cloud and Bruno having to rescue her. Another, they built a whole house of cloud fluff and lived there forever. But her favorite ending was the one where Mommy was a fairy and flew up to the clouds to meet them, and they all had a tea party in the clouds. They had cloud cups full to the brim with cloud chinos, and they ate cloud chip cookies. Bruno brought her safely back to her bed, and she woke up with a smile on her face. Jenny was thinking about the dream the whole day and couldn't wait to get back to sleep that night, just in case she dreams again. Jenny didn't dream at all last night, and she was desperate to be back in the clouds and feeling like she could fly. She decided to draw her cloud dream with her magical red crayon. She first drew Bruno, then she drew clouds and cloud snowmen and cloud castles and cloud biscuits, and when she ran out of paper, she stopped. She stuck the pictures on the walls of her bedroom and played with her dolls. She called Bruno and put her unicorn headband on his head and her dress-up fairy wings on his back. Her fairy doll was Mom, and her baby doll was herself. The pillows were the clouds. She played and played until suddenly it felt like everything became real. She could feel herself float above the floor. She felt Bruno's body under her as she was flying up above the room, the house, the farm, and yes, the clouds. She couldn't believe it. Her magical red crayon worked. She's really flying. She was just about to drink her cloud chino when Bruno barked very loudly, and she woke up. Disappointed, she realized that she fell asleep on top of Bruno, who was napping on her pillow clouds, and he was barking in his sleep. Still, it felt real, and she decided to keep her pictures on the walls so that she can play in her cloud dream world every day. The next morning when she woke up, she saw one of the pictures, a snowman, was gone. She looked everywhere but couldn't find it. "Mommy!" she called frantically. "What's wrong, Jenny?" Mommy rushed over. "My magic picture is gone," she said while pointing at a space on the wall. "And I can't find it. I looked everywhere." "Can't you just draw another one?" Mommy asked. "I don't have any more paper, and it won't be the same," Jenny cried. Mommy didn't have any paper either, and said she would buy some when she goes to the shop again. Jenny felt like her whole cloud dream world was falling apart as the pictures started coming off the wall, one by one. For the rest of the day, she was just watching TV, with no inspiration to play anything. Jenny was sad, and no amount of funny kittens or marshmallows could make her feel happy. She knew she wouldn't dream about anything that night when she went to bed, and she was right. It was a boring, dreamless sleep. The next day, Jenny still felt sad and decided to just stay in bed. Mommy even let her have breakfast in bed. Mommy went to the shops and bought some paper that she gave Jenny, but Jenny had no inspiration to draw, and her magic red crayon was safely kept in her fairy bag. Later in the morning, Mummy asked Jenny if she didn't want to play outside with Bruno to get some fresh air. Jenny didn't want to, but she heard Bruno barking and she was curious to see. She got dressed in a yellow t-shirt and red stripy shorts and took her ball to play with Bruno. She couldn't see Bruno, but heard him barking, so she followed the sound. It came from behind the chicken barn. She walked in that direction, but stopped to play with the kittens on the way. She said hello to the chickens and checked their nests for eggs. Nothing there. Bruno was still barking, but it was further away than she thought. She pet the horses and wondered when she will be big enough to ride one on her own. Around the corner behind the shed, she saw Bruno barking at something in the rose bush.
Careful, Bruno. Roses have thorns, she yells.
When she got there, she saw a piece of paper stuck under the bush, flapping in the wind.
Just paper, Bruno.
But he wouldn't stop barking. She reached to get it out and recognized the red crayon markings. She got so excited that she forgot about the thorns herself and got a nasty scratch on the arm. Although it burned a lot, and it was bleeding, she was so happy to see her missing cloud drawing that she almost didn't feel the hurt.
Bruno, you found my cloud dream. You are my hero,
she said while patting Bruno on the head. She took the picture and ran home singing,
Bruno is my hero, Bruno is my hero,
all along the way.
Mommy, look what Bruno found,
she said to Mum in the kitchen. Jenny, that's a nasty scratch on your arm. We have to clean it, Mum said.
Yes, but look, Mummy, look.
Mummy looked at the picture and was happy to know Jenny is no longer sad. She got the emergency kit and cleaned the scratch on Jenny's arm. After she put a plaster on, she kissed Jenny on the forehead and said, I'm so happy you found your missing dream cloud picture. Now you can go play. Here is some more sticky gum for your pictures. Jenny stuck all the pictures back onto the wall, and even though the missing one was dirty and torn, she felt whole and happy.
Come, Bruno, my hero, I need a unicorn.
And so they played the rest of the day in their cloud wonderland. Bruno was not feeling well. He is sleeping a lot and he wouldn't eat. Mummy's concerned that he ate something bad. Jenny tried everything to cheer him up and eventually decided to draw him a nice picture with her magic crayon. Surely that will make him feel better. She ran to Mummy's office to get some paper and then she went to her fairy bag to get her crayon. The crayon isn't there. She turned the bag inside out and looked everywhere around it, but she couldn't find it. Oh no! No more magic! She cried. She ran to her mother and sat on her lap until she had no more tears left to cry. Mummy helped her look for it, but it was nowhere to be found. Mummy told her a story about a fairy who collected lost things and then made the most magical things with it for her fairy friends. That made Jenny feel better, and she tried to think of things a fairy could use a lost red crayon for.
Mommy, do you think they will use my crayon to make paint for the flowers and butterflies?
She asked. Jenny, I think that is exactly what they will be using it for. You're such a clever girl. Tomorrow we will look into the garden if we can find flowers and butterflies with the colours of your crayon, Mum said.
Like a treasure hunt, Mummy?
Asked Jenny. Yes, exactly. But now I think I must take Bruno to the vet so we can find out what is wrong with him, said Mummy with her concerned voice. When they arrived at the vet, there were all kinds of other animals there. Jenny felt so sorry for all the sick animals, and she makes a little wish that Bruno will be just fine. At last it is their turn to go inside, and the vet puts Bruno on the cold steel table. Let's have a look-see, he said. He listened and felt and looked and then said, He doesn't have a fever, and I don't see anything wrong apart from the loud noises coming from his tummy. I think he ate something that made him feel bad, so I'm going to give him medicine to empty his stomach, and then he should be fine. The vet gave Bruno an injection, and Bruno didn't even cry. He's so brave. Once they got home, Mummy said Jenny must keep an eye on Bruno and to call her when it seems like he wants to go outside for a wee or a poo. It wasn't long before Bruno jumped out of his bed and ran outside.
Mummy, it's happening,
Jenny yelled. Mum came running outside and waited for Bruno to finish. It wasn't pretty, but it was almost like Bruno felt better immediately after, wagging his tail in relief. Jenny, says Mommy, look there.
Jenny looked and saw the papers of her red crayon on the grass, and immediately they both knew that Bruno ate her magical red crayon. "Oh," said Jenny, disappointed. "I thought you would be happy to know where your red crayon was," said Mum.
Yes, but I was looking forward to the treasure hunt for red flowers and butterflies tomorrow, she said.
"We can still have a treasure hunt, Jenny. I will find something else to hide for you," Mum said. Jenny ran inside to get ready for bed because she just couldn't wait for the next day. Jenny woke up before everyone else and jumped on the bed with Mum and Dad. "It's treasure hunt day," she said. "Oh, 5 more minutes, Jenny," said Dad. It was the longest 5 minutes of her life, but at last Mummy got up to make breakfast. She made flapjacks with butter and syrup, and they all ate together on the big stoop outside. Once everyone was dressed, Mummy went outside to hide the treasure, and then she called Jenny to come and look for it. Mummy gave her clues by saying hot when she went in the right direction and cold when she went in the wrong direction. Mummy was very good at hiding things. Jenny couldn't find it. They took a break for lunchtime. Daddy went to work, so it was just the two of them. Mum made toasted cheese sandwiches, and they ate it with some tea on the picnic blanket under the trees. After lunch, Jenny continued her search. At last she found the small cardboard box hidden under some dry leaves behind a tree in the garden. She started opening the box just to find another box inside, and another box inside that box. 5 boxes later, she found something small wrapped in pretty red gift paper. She opened it up and saw that it was a blue crayon. She was very disappointed. Mummy said, "Jenny, it was about the hunt, not only the treasure. Did you not enjoy it?"
"Yes, Mummy,"
said Jenny. Mummy continued talking. "I thought you could discover another colour for a change. Think of all the things you couldn't draw with red only. Things that are usually blue, like the sky and the sea." Jenny thought about it long and hard, but she still loved red too much to try out the blue crayon. She decided to put it in her cupboard where Bruno cannot reach it until she's ready. That night she dreamt about pirates and pirate ships. She saw them digging for treasure on beaches and following maps on islands. It was a magical dream, and when she woke up, she realized that everything in her dream was blue. The pirates were wearing blue and white striped shirts with blue pants. The captain was wearing a dark blue jacket and hat. Even the ship's sail was blue with a white skull on it. She remembered the blue sky and the blue sea, and she realized blue is not so bad after all. That day she noticed everything in her room, in the house, and even in the garden that was blue. And she started thinking about the nice pictures she could draw with her new blue crayon. And she wondered if this crayon was also magical. "Tomorrow I will try it out," she thought by herself as she slipped away into a deep sleep. The next day, Jenny couldn't wait to finish her breakfast and get dressed so that she can try out her new blue crayon. She told Mommy all about her dream, and Mommy suggested that she draws it. Jenny took a big piece of paper and the blue crayon and started drawing the sea and ships and pirates. "Another one for the fridge," Mommy said when she saw it. It looked very nice next to her red drawings on the fridge. Jenny decided to draw another picture. "Aren't you tired?" asked Mummy. "You worked so hard on that pirate picture."
"Just one more, Mummy,"
said Jenny. The other day she was looking at the blue sky when she was lying on her back on the grass, and it felt like she was flying as the clouds moved by. She decided to draw the sky and birds and tree branches. She tried to draw everything she saw from that view that day. She even drew a plane. Suddenly, it felt like she was falling into the picture, She was falling through the clouds, past the plane, and a bird tried to catch her. She was falling and falling and falling until she landed on her bed and woke up. Yes, she fell asleep again, and Mummy carried her to her bed. Mummy kissed her on the head and took off her shoes. "Good night, my blue butterfly. See you in the morning," she said as she switched off the light. Jenny tried not to open her eyes for too long so that she doesn't wake up completely. She wanted to continue dreaming about blue skies, blue sea, and blueberry ice cream.
Tomorrow, I'm going to ask Mummy to make blueberry pancakes,
she thought by herself while she was slipping away into her blue dream. A few weeks later, it was Jenny's birthday. She was so excited it felt like she couldn't breathe. Mummy invited all her best friends, Susie, Lila, and Katie. It was a blue party, of course. Everyone had to dress up in something blue. Mummy made a blue castle cake, blueberry muffins, and even coloured the popcorn blue. There were blue plates and cups and balloons as well. Even Bruno got a blue bow around his neck. Jenny dressed up as the blue fairy godmother and granted everyone's wishes at the party. They played board games, drew pictures, ate cake, sang songs, and then they got to the best part, opening the presents. Jenny started eagerly, and every gift she opened was better than the one before. She got plushy toys, colouring books, face paint, a blue dress for her Barbie, and then finally she got to open her last present from Mum.
"But you already gave me a present, Mummy,"
said Jenny. Mummy looked at her little girl and still cannot believe she's turning 5 today. "This one is to open new doors for your imagination, Jenny," said Mum. Jenny ripped the paper off and found another layer of paper and another, each one a different shade of blue, until at last she reached the gift. It was a brand new box of retractable crayons. 12 different colors. "You are a big girl now, Jenny. Big girls write with fancy crayons that look like pencils. And now you can draw a rainbow," said her grandmother, who was also at the party dressed in blue. "Eee!" squealed Jenny. "Thank you, Mummy. Tomorrow I'm going to draw a picture with all the colours, and it will be the best one on the fridge." Mummy laughed and gave her a hug, thinking of what she's going to do with all the pictures that Jenny will still be drawing. Jenny said goodbye to all her friends, and although she really wanted to try out the crayons, she was just too tired.
"Tomorrow is another day,"
she thought as she drifted off in a dream where she was sliding on a rainbow.